friends, I'm Amy and this is A-Star Reads, and it is time for my second book for Pickpongathon. I'm ready to do the second prompt, to work towards those 9 prompts. That's a lot. I have a couple of other books I'm currently working on, including the graphic novel 1 Billion Genies. Ideally, I'd get this done today because it's a graphic novel and I need to get it back to the library and pick up other holds I have at the library. I figured out how this will work for one of my prompts for Pickpongathon. I'm gonna stop telling you about the prompts because we're supposed to be secretive about it, and I didn't think about that when I filmed my first video. But there are hints throughout these videos as to what prompts these work for, so you will know if you are clever. Anyways, I'm gonna continue on with this one. I'm also currently listening to Jade Shards, which is a short book that is a short story collection for the Greenbone Saga. I'm just trying to finish out that series, and there are 2 like 0.5 books that I need to read to get that done. And drumroll for the book I'm working on now, the next book that I read a teeny bit last night. I'm currently reading Slewfoot by Browne. I'm really excited about this one. I believe this is going to be a book I absolutely love. And this is also the book that I'm reading for Shelf This Book Club, which is a book club hosted by Bailey from Is Bailey Reading. She always has a guest co-host, and the guest co-host is the person that gets to pick the book, which makes it interesting because she has a whole bunch of different people that come on to this book club and pick books that not everybody's necessarily gonna like, but it kind of forces you to read things that you wouldn't necessarily read. And I love Gothic books. I love historical books, especially when they're Gothic-y. And I do like horror a lot. So I thought it would be fun. And I've been wanting to read Slewfoot by Browne. And this is Jordan's copy because she got it during our Christmas Advent Calendar Challenge. I wanted it. I pretty much bought all the books during the Advent Calendar Challenge for myself and knowing that I would like them all. So luckily my cousin is very generous and let me borrow it. So I'm currently reading Slewfoot. I'm not very far into it yet. Where am I? Yeah, I'm on page 6. So not very far along, but I can already tell I'm gonna enjoy the writing. And it's not a very big book, so hopefully it won't take me too long to get through. At this point, we just know that some shadow creature has arisen and is searching for blood, is searching for lives to feed on. And then we are just meeting a girl named, what is her name? And we have just met a girl named Abatha who is looking for her goat. So that's as far as I've gotten so far. There's not much to say at this point. Can't tell you too much about the plot because I don't remember much about the plot. I wonder, does she get possessed by a demon? Am I making this up? I feel like I have learned about the plot in the past and then just forgot about it promptly. And that's okay because this is the kind of book that I would enjoy discovering in its own right. It's called A Tale of Bewitchery. So she gets bewitched, and Slewfoot, I think, is a demon based on one of the little things that it said at the front. It was this: tread wary foot amongst these sacred stones, for here on October 5th, 1666, the devil Slewfoot did take the lives of 112 good folk of Sutton village. May God save their immortal souls. And it says this is a marker mounted upon the ruined stonework of the old Sutton meeting house. So that's the very first thing you read. So Slewfoot has something to do with what happened in this. So that's all I know. Today is Sunday, day to relax and rest and rejuvenate. I did sleep in late. That was great. I needed it. I needed a lot of sleep because the last 2 nights I haven't got a lot of sleep. I want to do a few things. I keep promising Cece to take her for a walk. So I'd like to take her for a walk and keep my word. I've got to water my indoor plants. A lot of little stuff around the house. I've got sprints today at 6 p.m. for Pickpongathon. That's it for now. I've got a lot of stuff, a lot of cleaning and stuff that needs to happen that I put off for way too long. So we'll see what things get done and in what order, or if I just end up reading Slewfoot all day. Who knows? No, I have to read this first. So I'm going to get 8 Billion Genies done, and I'll let you know what I think about this. And then that'll work for at least 100 points, because graphic novels work for 100 points. I forgot, not only does this work for Shelf This Book Club and Pickpongathon, but it also works for Tales from Two Trails, because one of the prompts for my team is to read a book club book. And I'm reading this with Shelf This Book Club, which is a book club. So this is actually perfect because it's going to fulfill so many prompts. Cece's getting her promised walk, and we have found a new off-leash trail which is exciting. So we're taking it out. Okay, so I'm getting ready to go live soon for sprints, reading sprints for Pickpongathon. I just wanted to give you a bit of an update because I haven't really updated today too much, I don't think. I'm 43% of the way through my audiobook, Jade, Shards. We did get a chance to listen to that a little bit on our way to and from the hiking spot, and enjoying that a lot, just enjoying that because it's just so fun to hear more about the backstory of these different characters. So we're still on the lawn story, and it does involve the characters from the previous, from Aitmata's story as well, and Andon's situation. So like Andon's involved in this as well. I don't know that I'll get that done today, but you know, at least I'm making really good progress, and it shouldn't take too much longer for me to get through that. And this evening when we drop off my car to be serviced, I'll be able to listen to it a bit then, and tomorrow when I head up to Canada and back, I'm sure I'll be in the car quite a bit of time then. So I'll try to get as much audiobook listening done within the next 24 hours while I'm driving around. As far as this is going, I'm over halfway. I'm not the fastest graphic novel comic reader, so it does take me a little bit of time. And I am enjoying this. You know, it's interesting, it's strange, it's fun. I was looking up the publishing company on this, and they are considered an indie publishing company because they're not Marvel, not DC. And so everything that I've read states that this is an independent company. So that's great because this will work for one of my punishments. One of our punishments is that we have to forego a bonus. I don't know if I ever explained the punishments in the previous video or in this video. So the three hosts of our team, Literary Pongsters, Ren, Neva, and I, we all threw balls for Pick Pong to get 3 prompts each. So then our team has 9 total prompts. Well, of course, as you can imagine, we all missed a bit. And then of course, Crystal had to do something with those misses. So there were punishments that were applied at the amount of total misses that your team got. And so our team got 21 misses because we each got 7 misses. And so 21 total, which put us in the 3rd range. And you have to do the punishment for each of the ranges above that. So like for 0 to 10, I think that was read a book that's 400 plus pages. 10 to 20, if I remember correctly, that one might have been lose a bonus. And the bonuses are, as a reminder, LGBTQIA+, independent book or independent author, and BIPOC. So those are our bonuses. So if any of our books have one of those qualities to it, we can add a bonus to it, but we have to lose 1 bonus for this punishment. And then the 20 to 40 range, I think, is one where we had to have a friend pick one of our books. And of course, we want them to pick a book that has our prompts in mind. And so when I'm putting my things in, I would have used the bonus for indie book, but I won't be able to use it. But that's great because then I can just use this to forego that bonus, and any other bonuses I get from here on out will count. So I've got that. I also asked my friend to pick a book for me, and she did, so I'll talk about that at some other point because that was another punishment, is to have a friend pick your book. And then one of the other punishments, the 3rd punishment, is to read a book that's 400 plus pages. And I've already got a book, at least one book this month that I'm reading that's going to be 400 plus pages, so not a problem. So yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good. I'm making progress, and hopefully I'll make a lot of progress here in about 20 minutes when I start sprinting. I'm going to try and focus on more sprinting, less chatting. Although I love chatting, and that's what I'm actually good at. when it comes to sprints. I'm not as good at the reading. I'm gonna make sure we're focusing on reading this time around. I guess I should say a little bit more about what's going on. It's a post-apocalyptic situation where this big, huge thing with these genies has happened, and now we're seeing the aftermath of it. You know, the kind of things you would expect in a post-apocalyptic world. Lots of people dying, lots of things happening, and there are stages to recovery with this. And so we're just kind of following certain characters. We have certain main characters that we've been following that were the initial people that were in the bar that we met at the very beginning. Actually, these people on the cover here. This guy is the bar owner. This is a boy and his father back here. These are 3 band members. And this is a Chinese couple who came in. She's pregnant. And they were actually searching for a different bar when they stumbled into the Lampwick. And these are what the genies look like. Each person on the planet gets their own genie. And things have changed. Their situation has changed. The people have made choices, good choices, bad choices, choices that have changed things for everybody and themselves. And I think we're 5 years into the future after all the genies arrived. So seeing what damage has happened, what has occurred since then. How is your Sunday going, Monday going? What are you reading? What are you going to be reading with me today? And how is your challenge going? Do you feel like you're doing pretty well this month so far, August? I mean, it's only 4 days in, so it's hard to say, but I know that usually when we have a readathon, especially a competitive one, everybody's like, let's go, let's go. So I'm curious how you're doing with yours. I got my page. I'm at work, so I can't hear or watch for long, but just, hi, Paige, woohoo! I hope work is going smoothly for you, and thank you very much. You're just wonderful. Yes, Chili Pants, let's go Literary Pongsters! I mean, all the other teams, the other 2 teams are great, too, but, I mean, this is the team, obviously, Literary Pongsters. Let's go! Hey, Brenna, how's it going? I'm very excited you're here. Okay, so I have read 18 pages in so far, and I want to throw this book. I mean, it's not the book's fault, but I want to smash. I want to smash one of the characters in this already. He is horrifying. And of course, this is during the Puritan era, so there is this strong belief that women are beneath men, or at least need to be subservient to men or listen to men and not be heard. Like, women should be seen, not heard. He's a horrible, horrible character. Already I can tell I hate Wallace. I hate Wallace. Edward is his brother, and Edward is married to Abatha, our main character. Abatha is the one that got sold by her father to come to America and be Edward's wife. Edward is a quiet, timid man, and he is the second son. And his older brother is a total horrible person and has just given them not like a physical blow, although he wanted to hit Abatha, but he's really hurt Edward and Abatha because he basically gave their land away out from underneath them. And he had every right to, technically, because it's still his land, but Edward and Abatha have been working to pay off the land from him, and he's his brother. The way he is written is done very well, because I was so furious reading this section where he's present, and I can see why Abatha is losing her control around him, which is getting her in trouble. Things aren't looking good for Edward and Abatha at this point, and nothing has happened with the shadow creature, what have you, yet. I mean, there's been a little bit of like, you thought something was going to happen, and something did happen in a sense, but nothing has happened to Abatha directly. But the level of anger that she's building up and the frustrations that she's facing, especially being in this community when she has a temper and she does not agree with the way that women are treated, I could see that making her susceptible to a devil. if the goal of this story is that she gets taken over by a devil, because I kind of thought that I read something or heard somebody say that she's possessed. Is she possessed or somebody else? She's coming to the point where she would have a lot of reason to have revenge on Wallace, let alone other people within this community. She doesn't hate Edward or anything like that. You know, she's married to him and she didn't choose to be married to him, but she feels for him. She feels sorry for him mostly. She doesn't have a very strong romantic relationship with him, but she knows her lot's been thrown in with him. She also knows that he does not stick up for himself. He does not take care of himself. He is not a strong person as far as like protecting what is his. And that's going to come into play and be a big problem, I can tell already. And she is going to lose it. And losing it within this community means that she gets in a lot of trouble. Whew, big feelings of anger. That's not good. Well, I learned a lot on my trip to Canada today. I learned that this is only one half of the interview, which I kind of knew, but I didn't know how I was supposed to get the other half of the interview, like the United States side. So my interview in Canada was for my Nexus Pass. And a Nexus Pass is basically not like your passport. It's something extra you can get that will help you get through the border crossing lines quicker. Like you can bypass the regular lines and go through the Nexus lines. The interview gives them a chance to like vet you and see if you're someone who they won't mind going through and not asking a ton of questions to. So I have been trying to get my Nexus Pass for quite a few years, but then COVID hit and then I just didn't have a chance to make my appointment. So this is my attempt to make my appointment and get my Nexus Pass. I had told the guy here that I was trying to figure out how to make an appointment in Blaine, the town that's near me where they usually do Nexus appointments. He's like, oh, well, that's because a lot of the appointments are all the way out in December. If that. Sometimes they release new appointments and there are appointments that are further out. And I was like, oh, that's why, because there were no appointments when I tried to book it. And now there are, but they're in December. So I was like, oh, that's great. So I have an appointment officially. Didn't actually do anything here. Just drove out to Canada for the information, which I'm not upset about. Like, it was a nice drive. It was a lovely morning. And I'm not in a rush to do anything today. But it's a long drive just to find out, oh, this is what you're supposed to do. So I made my appointment Christmas Eve, 4 p.m. I've got my appointment to do my Nexus. My goodness, that's wild. I can't believe that's that far out. But, you know, I'll eventually get it. And then they'll probably tell me that it's expired. It's too far out. Anyways, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Okay, so it's an hour-long wait to get across the border. So I'm just sitting here, just waiting, listening to my audiobooks. And one thing I guess I wasn't clear on with the Pickpongathon was that I kind of thought that we could submit books just for page points. And so like my little audiobooks I'm currently listening to, which I don't really have prompts set for them, I could submit those just for the extra points for page count. And that is not the case. So that's good to know. Now that I know these audiobooks won't count. But I'm still listening to them and finishing them out because it'll still give me the opportunity to finish the Greenbone Saga completely. So I've got about 17 minutes left of Jade Shards. And I'm currently on a story that is about Shay. And then last night I actually started the Jade Setter of Janloon as well. That's the 0.5 book. And I started that because Mom was enjoying listening to Jade Shards with me. And so I didn't want to continue on the particular story I was listening to while we were driving in separate cars to drop off my car. And so I waited and started the Jade Setter of Janloon. And I can tell I'm going to really like that audiobook. This one, Jade Shards, is good. It's interesting. The stories are good to know because it gives us a little bit of background information. But I think I'm going to like the story of the Jade Setter of Janloon a lot more. And that's just a novella. Like, it's a short novella. Once I get these two done, I will start focusing on audiobooks that will actually work for my prompts. Oh, I also forgot. I didn't do a review of 8 Billion Genies, and since I'm sitting here for a long time, I'll do that now. I actually ended up giving this 4 stars. I was surprised that I ended up having quite a connection to these characters at the end and feeling real strong feelings about them. I did get a little, I didn't cry, but I got a little choked up a couple of times because you really do start seeing the better sides of these characters, or just, I guess, the legacy that they're leaving and the importance of what they mean to the planet at this point. It is a very strange graphic novel, but I thought it was very interesting. I liked the art well enough. It was a little overwhelming at times. There were certain scenes where there's just so much happening on those scenes within the art style that you're like, I don't even know what to make of all this. Oh, I'm moving forward one spot. Look at me go. Here we go. Woohoo! That was it. There were certain spreads within the graphic novel where I was just a little visually overwhelmed. But I ultimately really ended up enjoying it a lot more than I expected to. And not that I didn't think I was going to like it at all, but I thought it was going to be like in the 3-star range. But I'm giving it a 4-star. I really did enjoy it, and it did come full circle as far as the intent of the graphic novel, and it really grew on me. And yeah, graphic novels aren't always easy for me. I don't know why, but they work sometimes. More often than not, they're kind of or they don't always work. So that was great. I was really happy that I enjoyed it so much, and I did use that one for one of my prompts. But yeah, now I'm loath to tell you what prompts I'm using my books for anymore. But that means that I have 2 prompts done out of the 9. We'll see what happens. I have no clue. I'm just hoping I'll be able to get my team my 500 points for the 9 prompts. And so I'm gonna move forward, still working on Slewfoot. I was able to pick it up for like a minute at the airport when I was waiting for my Nexus appointment, and then they called me in right away. It's like one of those books where I just want to read it, and everything is conspiring against me at the moment to give me time to just read it. So, yeah, especially this hour-long wait, but that's okay because I'm getting my audiobooks done. So this day turned out being kind of rough mental health-wise. So now I've just been spending the whole afternoon watching Olympic surfing and seeing who the gold medalists are going to be among the women and the men. And that's pretty much how I spent the rest of my afternoon, and I'm really enjoying it. It's helping a lot. So I am not doing much reading, but I'm taking care of this thing up here.
That was massive.
We won the gold! Hooray, hooray, hooray! Well, we meaning the USA.
Here in Paris 2024.
Obviously, I didn't do anything. I didn't contribute at all.
Anthem of the United States of America.
Cece. Look who's covered in seeds. Cece, look, show them. We have these awful weeds out in the woods that every year they seed, and the seeds are like not sticky, but they have little things on them to make them stick to things, and she always gets covered in them. It is ranking day. We're going to find out where our team lies as far as points. And I know that I haven't contributed as many points as I would have liked to our team, but I'm working on it. So I didn't get a chance to read too much of Slewfoot yesterday because it was a rough day yesterday, and I just need to take yesterday for what it was and move forward. And it was good. Sometimes you just need to unleash. Sometimes you just need, everything just kind of hits y'all at once, and that's sort of what happened. So I'm currently on page 60, really, really enjoying this. I'm just enjoying the vibe a lot. Because it's so easy for me to get too busy doing other things and put off reading until the end of the day and then get too tired to read, I'm gonna try and read 2 hours today, and I'm gonna set 30-minute increments and I'm gonna read throughout whatever else I'm doing. Maybe it'll get me further, maybe it'll get me done. I don't think it'll get me done, but it will at least get me making progress. And then of course later on in the day, in the evening when I'm done, I can always read more then. But I wanna make sure I'm reading at least 2 hours today by doing 30-minute increments. I've also decided what audiobook I'm gonna listen to. I'm gonna listen to Me by Elton John because this is one of the books on my want to read TBR, not something I physically own, that I have wanted to read at some point. I put it on there because I wanted to read it. And I love audiobooks that are narrated by the actual author. That's just my favorite way to consume that kind of media. So that's perfect for an audiobook because then I'll get to listen to Elton John tell me all about himself and his life. And that not only works for one of my prompts, it also works for bonus for the LGBTQIA plus bonus. So that is what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. And I'm excited to listen to that. I'll be interested to see what I think about it. And it's gonna be a change of pace because I feel like I've been reading a lot of like thrillers or darker stories lately. And so it'll be fun to just listen to something completely different. I'm sure there's gonna be dark elements to it, but in a different way. I've already gone to the gym today. I already did some running around and got some things accomplished. I would like to focus on laundry today, and then organizing my books and my bookshelves, because I have a lot of books lying around in big stacks, and I have shelves, not my like want to read, my books that I haven't read, but my bookshelf of books that I have read. It's not organized at all. It needs to be more organized. So I need to do some organizing and then putting away of all these books that are in these big stacks, because we'd like to use our table again for like eating. And I just have tons of books on it. And the most interesting activity I have to do today is my very first mammogram. I am officially a middle-aged woman. So yay me! Let's hope it goes well. Okay, so I've been working hard on my book project of reorganizing everything and trying to get things put away. I only have one stack of books that I haven't logged or put away yet. And it's this stack right here. I have a stack of books here, but these are all textbooks and I gotta figure out what I wanna do with those. But this stack of books hasn't been put away yet. And I haven't yet organized my shelf of books that I have read. I also have boxes of read books in the garage. So that's going to happen at some point, but it hasn't happened yet. Look, it's such a mess. But I did reorganize, and I did have to use that shelf for my fantasy. So my fantasy is just expanding, expanding, expanding. But now I have room for growth, which I didn't have at all before. And I've moved my projects up here and totally condensed, and I condensed my horror, thriller, mystery, and my romance. There is no space on these shelves. It is really full. In fact, there's 2 layers of all these mass market paperbacks. So yeah, I better get to these at some point. Cece got a bath today, so she's nice and clean. She looks so pretty, so clean and so pretty. And Isaac's dirty. Then in here, I added some middle grade that I had to put back on the shelves, and then I organized this one a little bit better because I had to add some things to here. This is my fiction, my general fiction section. And then I did have to add a few nonfictions, so I had to arrange things a little differently down here. And I only added one sci-fi, so nothing too crazy down there. I was also working on editing and trying to get the very last of my trip vlogs done. And in fact, I'm consolidating the 29th, 30th, and 31st into one vlog. So final vlog, I can do it. Just get it out there so I can finally start working on these vlogs. Haven't picked up my audiobook again yet. And I did do 1 hour total of reading Slewfoot, but I haven't got my second hour in yet. And I'm going to be doing that this evening, although everybody's posting their final points for this week, because we're going to find out our standings here in about half an hour, and I'm excited about that. I just haven't been able to read that much this weekend. There's been a little bit of mental health stuff going on, lots of just trying to get things back in order since I got back from my trip. It was a bit hard to go from that to just jumping into a whole bunch of stuff once I got back home. So I'm hoping that next week's going to be a little more, I'll be able to log some more points. And now since I'm reading longer books, hopefully I'll be able to get us more points. I'm just hoping that we're doing really well as a team and that we're not going to be in trouble of getting a punishment. Okay, so we have one load left to do, and that'll be 5 total loads back and forth between our shed and the storage unit, and I'm getting tired. We're going to head out in about 15 minutes, and I'm just like, oh, My muscles are exhausted. And it's a good workout. And it feels really good to be getting the stuff out of the shed because it's just like we're starting the process of all the projects we have to do. So that feels fantastic. But I'm just going to be sore. We also went and picked up my car from the shop. I got my brakes fixed. That's exactly what I needed done. It was very necessary. I've got quite a few other things that need to be done on my car, but I need a permanent job. So let's hope my car just holds it together a little longer until I get either a permanent job or just start working, getting some sub days in so I can afford car issues. So I haven't done a lot of reading today, except for I did listen to Me by Elton John a little bit in my mom's car on the way to the shop. I don't have air conditioning in my car. She does. So I can listen to it in her car. In my car, I have to keep the windows down, so I didn't listen to anything except music while I was driving my car. At least I was able to get a little bit of listening to that. And let me tell you, I'm really loving Me by Elton John. This is a great audiobook. It's actually not narrated by Elton. Well, the introduction was narrated by him, but then we've got this audiobook narrator narrating it, and he's fantastic. His pacing is like on point. I just think he's doing an amazing job. So if you are interested, and I think the book is fantastic too. I'm just starting to like it a lot, and I'm like thinking, it's feeling right now like it could be a 5-star read for me. So if you ever had any interest in learning more about Elton John, or you like autobiographies about celebrities or about the music industry, I recommend this. And at this point, we really are just going through his childhood, the different experiences that he had, and what brought him into music and made him love music so much that he eventually becomes Elton John, which is not his given name. That's his stage name, because his given name was a name that he's like, that's not a celebrity name. That's not a star name. So Elton John is a combination of two of the people that he was in previous bands with. Like Elton is one person's first name and John is another person's name in the band. So he pulled their names. They knew, but he pulled their names to create his own stage name. And it worked. It worked. Well, I don't think the name is what got him famous, but it certainly has stuck. Okay, our shed is completely cleared out. Final product. Woohoo! We gotta put new floor in. That's for sure. It's nasty. And the shelving's pretty nice though. Last load. Good morning. It is, what is today? Thursday. Today's Thursday. Yesterday we did all our moving and stuff. And something about the way I slept last night really hurt my neck, and that transferred into a really bad headache. So I took some Tylenol this morning and it didn't do anything. So I ended up taking one of my naproxen, which is what I use for when I get migraines, because it works really well for my migraines. It's actually finally working, because I was like just suffering this morning, not wanting to do anything, not feeling like I was going to get anything accomplished today because I was just not feeling good at all. So luckily, now I'm feeling much, much better. Still feeling like really delicate and a little like fuzzy-headed, but at least it's not pain. So that's good. So I have been reading Slewfoot this morning. At first I was just scrolling on my phone because I couldn't really get myself to do anything. But now I'm back to reading Slewfoot. And I've decided I'm going to do my 2 hours today, try to get my 2 hours of reading in, because my reading has been kind of crap these last couple of days. So I need to like really push myself to read at the moment. And not that I'm not enjoying this, it's just reading has not been a priority for me these last few days. And considering I'm co-hosting a readathon where reading as much as you can is necessary, I need to get on top of it. You know, yesterday was a really busy day from start to finish, and I'm so glad we accomplished what we accomplished. But then today I woke up feeling horrible, just like I got hit by a truck or something. And so I'm trying to feel better today. So hopefully I can make quite a bit of progress. I've already read a little over half an hour of my 2 hours for the day. I'm currently on page 145 of Slewfoot. I'm about halfway through this, almost halfway. I'm getting very close to halfway. And it is a very slow-paced story, but I'm still enjoying it. I like the characters. I'm very curious the direction it's going to go into, because we have gotten to the point where our main character, Abatha, has sort of created an alliance with this demon, Slewfoot, whatever it is. The thing is, it doesn't understand what it is, and she doesn't understand what it is, and you're starting to feel like you're taking a lot of chances here that you know, we don't quite know what this demon thing is. And so is she putting too much trust in it? Is she actually doing what is good for her, or is she going to be falling down this like well of danger and sin and actually getting herself into a lot of trouble? We don't know yet, but we know that so far good things are happening for her finally, because she has been struggling so much. And you have these outside forces, these people who are against her and who want to take advantage of her, and you don't want to see that happen. So you think of her as a good character, but then you see the things she's starting to get involved in, and you're like, is she good? Is she going down a wrong path? Is the wickedness of what she's getting involved in actually going to turn against her eventually? Is it wicked? Is it good? Who knows, you know? And that's kind of neat, because there's no clear, like, this is wrong, this is right in this situation at this point. It feels right to her. So she doesn't know whether or not she's doing something that is actually going to be, in the eyes of Puritans, absolutely wicked. I mean, this would be in the eyes of Puritans absolutely wicked anyways, because they wouldn't be able to understand whether or not this creature, this demon, this whatever it is good or bad. Either way, it would just be like, that is wrong. But she's not quite sure. She doesn't quite know. Is it really wrong? So we know from the very beginning of this, something is going to go wrong. And we don't know how this story is meant to lead to it, and what the reality, what the actuality of what eventually happens is. Telling you a bit about what's happening in this story, I don't feel like I'm giving things away, but at the same time, it's hard to explain this story without telling you what Abatha is kind of going through, because otherwise, you know, there's not really... What does it tell you on the back of this book? It says, an ancient spirit awakens in a dark wood. The wild folk call him Father, Son, Slayer, Protector. The colonists call him Slewfoot, Demon, Devil. To Abatha, a recently widowed outcast, alone and vulnerable in her pious village, he is the only one she can turn to for help. Together they ignite a battle between pagan and Puritan, one that threatens to destroy the entire village, leaving nothing but ashes and bloodshed in its wake. Mom's got another bingo. We gotta actually start doing our rewards for a change. See a performance.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a performance of any kind.
Yeah.
Woo, let's see your bingo. Show me.
Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, I just finished. Blueberry Muffin Murder, I just finished. Give Me a Sign. And The Kingdom Over the Sea.
That was that middle grade, I think.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Okay, so I finished my 2 hours. Got it all done, and I'm currently on page 184. So I made it quite a ways. I'm well over halfway now, and just enjoying a day of reading and not doing much at all. I was even like, do I feel like editing? No, I don't. I think we're going to take Cece for a walk a little bit later, but really just kind of relaxing. And I don't think I've taken a full day just to relax since I've gotten back from my trip, so it feels kind of nice to just be reading. And what do I have to say about Slewfoot so far? Things have happened, and there's so much, in a sense, positive momentum happening that you're kind of wondering when. I mean, something really negative did happen, but we were able to build some good outcomes from that. I'm trying to say all this without like giving stuff away. But at the same time, you're like, where's the balance? When is the negative going to come back in? And like in this world that she lives in, it feels like nothing completely wonderful and happy can happen without some retaliation in a sense, or some bad thing happening in turn. So we've gotten to the point where things seem all great, fine and dandy, and going in our main character's favor, but what is going to be a result of that? I'm sure there's going to be something. It can't all be happy, as we know from the beginning of the story, what it said right at the very beginning, that 112 people died in Sutton, so were slaughtered in Sutton. Makes me a little nervous, but right now everything looks good. Okay, so I did it. I finished Slewfoot by Browne, and this was my 3rd prompt that I've completed for Pickpongathon, so I'm feeling pretty good that I'm getting some points for my team. And today was really one of those days where I just read for most of the day, and it was really relaxing and nice. And I have a lot of thoughts about this book and I can't wait to talk about it. This is the Shelf This Book Club pick for the month of August. I picked it. So I can't wait to talk to Bailey about this and have a discussion with all the other people within the Shelf This Book Club. I'm going to link the book club down below so you can come talk to us if you've already read this book or if you would like to read it. Our live show discussion is on the 25th. Is it the 25th? Sometime around the 25th. Read this book. Come talk to us. And I'm excited to give more of my thoughts then. I kind of want to hold off and not give everything away, including my rating, until I've thought about it a little bit more and until I've had the live show discussion. But I will say I did really enjoy this. And I can't wait to hear what other people thought about it. There were definitely a lot of parts of this that were a little slower. The scenes towards the end, with the way they pick up, the way things start going, are pretty incredible. And yeah, it's quite a horror story. And some of the scenes are very descriptive in ways that are like, ugh, you know, like, oh, okay. That's the horror element. Interesting. And I can't tell you anything about what I'm talking about, but let's just say creepy crawlies. Anyways, I'm still working on Me by Elton John. I didn't get a chance to listen to it at all yesterday. Well, a little bit yesterday, but not today at all. But tomorrow we're doing a lot of driving around. We have quite a few places we have to drive out to, long distance. And so I'm hoping to get a good portion of that listened to. And I'm going to start my next physical book, which will be my 4th prompt that I'm going to be attempting. No, my 5th prompt, because Me by Elton John is my 4th prompt I'm attempting. And I'm not going to tell you what that is yet. Because for one, I still haven't solidified what I want to read next yet. And 2, I'm going to save that for the next vlog. So if you've read Slewfoot, let me know what you thought about it in the comment section down below. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe so you can see what happens in the next vlog when I continue on with my Pickpongathon journey, trying to get as many points as I possibly can for the Literary Pongsters. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.